Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're looking into, well, an absolutely extraordinary story. It honestly feels like something out of a novel.
It really does.
We're digging into sources about ambition, revenge, and the literal foundations of power.
Yeah, it's a very dramatic narrative. It focuses on this real estate mogul, Marcus Thorne, his downfall, really.
Right.
And the incredibly meticulous revenge planned by Alara, a woman whose life's work, even her home, he just ruthlessly erased.
Well, for his big project, the Thorn Spire.
Exactly, his flagship building.
Okay, so let's get into this.
Yeah.
Our mission today is really to understand how Alara, she was the city's former chief archivist, right?
That's correct, yeah.
How she turned her, forced confinement in the Spire's penthouse into her weapon.
And the irony is just it's exquisite, isn't it?
It's unbelievably cruel irony. The contract that trapped her there, forced her pregnancy, also gave her this, total access to the very tools she needed.
Unfettered access. And everyone, Thorne included, mistook her silence.
They thought it was submission.
Completely. But she used that penthouse's high-speed network, essentially as her research library, to dig up everything he'd buried.
And her background was key here, wasn't it? The archivist.
Absolutely fascinating. She was a historian by training, by nature. She had this flawless memory, like a catalog of the city's history, its bones.
So she could connect the dots others wouldn't even see.
Precisely. She found original deeds, the ones written in that elegant old script, exposed how he'd bribed officials to ignore protected landmark statuses.
Wow.
And even uncovered desecrated indigenous burial grounds right under his shiny new parking garage.
Unbelievable.
This wasn't just finding crimes, though. It was. It was a masterclass in how meticulously researched history, the kind people often overlook, can just dismantle power structures.
Because she knew the real history he'd spent millions trying to bury.
She knew it, and she weaponized it.
So that deep understanding of the city's past.
Yeah.
That's what led her to the Spire's, its fatal secret. How did she figure that out?
Indeed. Her knowledge of the city's geology, its past uses, led her straight to it. The building stood directly over these old, unstable, pre-industrial tunnels.
Coal and water tunnels?
Coal and water tunnels, exactly. And Thorne, he'd okayed a cheaper foundation, unreinforced, saved maybe a few million.
Pocket change for a project that size.
Relatively speaking, yes. And he had forged geological surveys, internal memos, the whole cover-up. It was this single fatal keystone of greed, really, holding up his empire.
And the penthouse he thought was her cage.
Became her command center, her tool to find that hidden weakness.
So, let's paint the picture. The night she gives birth, there's this huge storm raging outside the penthouse windows.
Torrential rain. Marcus arrives, triumphant, ready to claim his heir.
But Alara isn't recovering. She's
standing there, calm, collected. The newborn is asleep, and she's ready to deliver a very different kind of truth.
She didn't threaten him, did she?
No, she taught him. It was colder than that. She used the penthouse tech to project these spectral images onto the glass.
Images of...
The damning evidence, the deeds, the maps overlooking the city he thought he owned. Then she laid out the spire's structural flaw, explained how the record rainfall was flooding those old tunnels.
Eroding the compromised ground beneath them.
Exactly. And he laughed, called it a fantasy.
A classic mistake, right? Underestimating the details.
The powerful often do. But, a building's only as strong as its foundation. We all know that.
What she did next.
Yeah.
It's just astonishing precision.
Utterly unflinching. With a final tap on her tablet, she activated the penthouse's emergency water systems.
Not the sprinklers.
No, not the sprinklers. The huge reserve tanks for firefighting. Thousands of gallons, tons and tons of water.
Dumped where?
Directly down the central service shafts. It raised a very immediate, very physical question for Thorne.
How much weight can that compromised foundation actually bear?
And the answer was not that much more. That sudden, immense pressure on the already strained structure, it was the final straw.
So the spire's collapse wasn't just metaphorical.
Oh no. It was the literal weight of Marcus's own hubris, his greed, crashing down. The penthouse floor buckled first.
Wrenching him down.
Into the darkness of the empire he built. Alara and her child were left on a stable section, the only survivors up there.
So the collapse wasn't just the building falling. It was his whole reputation.
Absolutely. The implosion of everything Marcus Thorne had carefully constructed. And Alara made sure of it.
Oh, through his death, triggering something.
Yes. His death activated this complex digital trust she'd set up, a dead man's switch, essentially.
Designed to do what?
Release everything simultaneously. Every crime she'd uncovered, the original deeds, the bribed officials, the ignored landmarks, those desecrated burial grounds, all of it.
Sent it where?
To news outlets, law enforcement agencies, historical societies, worldwide. She ensured his legacy wouldn't just be rubble, it would be the truth, the damning truth.
Wow. Just wow.
Mm.
So as we wrap up, it really makes you think what hidden weaknesses, what ignored, keystones of greed might be lurking under the surface of things we see as stable.
Buildings, sure, but also businesses, institutions.
Or even our own beliefs. And maybe more importantly, what quiet, meticulous work might be needed to actually uncover them.
Something to consider.
Definitely something to consider. That's all we have time for on this deep dive. Thanks for joining us.